collaboration with Solana would actually make a lot of sense. I think Mike's head is all fucked up and screwed up. It's just one of those cases where he's dick deep, full dick in with Bitcoin, and so it's got to work. If it doesn't work the way he hopes, he goes bankrupt.
What a wild week it has been for Cardano. We have Charles calling people out, we have unusual whale activity, and we even have rumors that the Vasil Hardfork may be delayed once again. So we're going to cover all that, and then we're going to end on some chart analysis and price predictions for Cardano. So let's hop right in. The first bit of information I want to cover today is around this whale activity. So we're seeing heavy accumulation here of Cardano wallets holding more than 10,000 or 100,000 Cardano ADA tokens in the past month or so. And now, meanwhile, wallets holding between 100,000 and 10 million ADA, so kind of those larger whales, they have not bought or sold. They are just holding that asset, holding Cardano, and waiting for that upgrade to come here shortly. So very, very interesting to see that whales are not bailing at all. If anything, they're accumulating more leading up to this upgrade. You can see that kind of confidence and positivity they have around what this upgrade might bring to the price action. And that leads me to my second point. So there's been a lot of back and forth recently of developers on Twitter taking a look at Cardano's GitHub, taking a look at what some of the issues are. And a few folks have said that based on the issues that they're seeing, they would expect another 2 to 4 week delay in the Vasil upgrade. Now, the technical director of open source development at Cardano said that the node, ledger, network, and consensus bits have appeared to be somewhat stable so far. And he's saying that most of the bugs that are reported that these people are citing, that they are actually not really the concern of Cardano CLI, which is just the command line utility and the Haskell high-level interface. So it's not necessarily something that's going to completely slow down what they're trying to do. So the working hypothesis is still that Cardano mainnet hard fork will take place, the Vasil hard fork will take place the last week of July. Now, it seems like that's still up for a little bit of debate. The technical director has kind of calmed some of these folks on Twitter, calling him out, saying, hey, we have some serious bugs that you're showing in GitHub. What is that actually going to entail in terms of the timeline? So he basically responded saying that there are definitely bugs. There are still kinks they have to work out, but they're rather minor on the scale of things that could actually push back the Vasil upgrade. Nevertheless, definitely do not be surprised if we do hear about another delay coming to that upgrade for Cardano. Now, this bit of bullish news has me super excited on the future of the network, the future of Cardano overall. We have seen a massive explosion in the amount of Plutus scripts that have been added to the network. So these are actually active smart contracts that are essentially, they have capability to them. A lot of these time lock scripts are really just going to be transactional contracts. They don't necessarily have functional programming to them, whereas these Plutus scripts are active projects that are building on Cardano, active smart contracts that have some more capability as opposed to just kind of managing transactions. So we're seeing a ton of growth in the amount of projects coming to Cardano, the amount being built on Cardano. And that is also great in terms of the outlook, right? Because a lot of people might get nervous that this hard fork is coming. It seems like developers are just heads down, building and adding more programs to the network. So we love to see that. Now, what I want to end on here is a little bit of a breakdown on where we are at in terms of the chart action for Cardano. So we do have something here that I want to point out. So we have the Shelly upgrade area here, the KuCoin upgrade here, and then the potential for the Basho upgrade here in late 2022, early 2023. So if we break this down and look at kind of how these events, these upgrades kind of impact Cardano, it's very, very clear that it leads to price action. It's just not necessarily that there is a smooth pattern. So what I mean by that is here in Shelly, right before it, we saw almost look at that. That's about 500% increase in the price action leading up to Shelly. And then after Shelly, we saw a slight decrease / consolidation period. And then obviously we have this kind of wicked move to the upside once staking kind of really took hold and everything was completed. Now with KuCoin, obviously we had this run up and then kind of a severe decline leading into the upgrade being launched. But right after the KuCoin launch, we see that incredible price action as well. Now, these are more these like larger upgrades, right? So the Vasil Hardfork is part of the next phase of upgrading for Cardano. It is not in itself one of these major upgrades on the roadmap in terms of a named upgrade on the roadmap, right? So we're going to have the Vasil Hardfork take place right around here. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see whether or not that actually has price action leading up to it. Right now, we have seen somewhat of a bounce and then a little bit of an uptick here in this most recent weekly candle leading up to the upgrade. So it's definitely possible that we see some movement here leading up to the upgrade. But in all honesty, I don't necessarily see us going past, let's say, leading up to this Vasil upgrade, going past, this 60-cent mark. 67-cent mark. This is kind of where we had our really previous hardcore resistance when we tried to make that consolidation to upwards movement in the past. So my main concern is that we probably get rejected there leading up to Vasil Hardfork. And I think, most likely we see kind of the explosive, incredible growth that everyone is expecting out of Cardano. My guess is that we see that more towards this area in the Basho upgrade, which is, again, expected to come late 2022, early 2023. So if we kind of go based off what we've seen with Shelly, that lead up, really showing positivity, and then after showing positivity, here KuCoin, a little bit more of a mixed signal, right? We saw somewhat of a decline right before it and during the upgrade, and then after the upgrade, we saw that incredible movement. So with Basho, it's hard to kind of predict what's going to happen, right? But I would say that we still have some time before Cardano is going to make an insane run, but at the same time, it'll be really, really interesting to see if we can break that, 67-cent hardcore weekly resistance during that Vasil upgrade portion, or if we do that leading up to it, and then what happens with the price action post Vasil. To the downside, though, we do have quite a bit of risk. I'm definitely not going to sugarcoat it. We do have a very, very solid chance that when we get rejected here at this 67-cent mark, or even if we get rejected before that, we could get rejected here at these previous resistance right around 50 cents. If we get rejected there, we are looking at a return to 39 cents. And then if we lose that, likely breaking down in between 30 cents and that 39.40 cent marker. As you can see back here, that was kind of our key resistance and support levels just back in December of last year. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of a range. I would say that, short term, it's likely that we fall into this range, play here a little bit. Longer term, I think Cardano has a real good chance to break out of that 67-cent resistance using the momentum of the Vasil Hardfork and this Basho upgrade coming here later next year, or later this year into next year. So I think as a Cardano investor, you definitely need to be very, very wary that we could go decently lower. I would say to the low side, we could be looking at just under 30 cents. So if you are DCAing right now, dollar cost averaging right now, definitely be mindful of that, right? Be willing to watch it go to 30 cents if you want to start, continually investing here at 48 cents. But if you do remember, the whales right now are accumulating on average, and then they're also, the larger whales are not selling anything right now. So I would definitely take that also into consideration as you start to kind of plan out your strategy here. But it's very, very important that you understand that we could be playing in this zone it's really, really likely that we could be playing that zone for quite a bit of time. Even if we come up here during Vasil, break down and then play in here, and then maybe make a move again. And then when Basho comes, we start going. That I more see as a realistic outcome. So pump to Vasil, potentially. We've already seen some of that. Maybe a little bit of a lag after Vasil, come back down, play in this area, and then once Basho kind of starts to set in, maybe we see Cardano really hit that upside swing that everyone's kind of been talking about. So that's what I wanted to cover today. We have quite a bit of news circulating around Cardano, a lot of talk about the price action, a lot of talk about the Vasil upgrade. So thank you so much, everybody. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.